Hello मेरे प्यारे students, welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to see you all here. Before we jump into today's chapter, you know the drill, right? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and please tell me in the comments what other chapters you're struggling with. I'm here to help you.
All right, let's get started. Today we're tackling a super important chapter, Paths to Modernization. Now, I know, history can sometimes feel a bit dry. But trust me, this isn't just a boring lesson. Think of it like a movie, an epic story about two giant neighbors, China and Japan, and how they took completely different roads to become the countries they are today.
I mean, have you ever really thought about it? You see Japan today with its bullet trains, its robots, all this amazing technology, and you just have to wonder, wow, how on earth did they do that so fast? But then you look right next door at China, this massive, ancient country, and their story was full of struggle for 100 years. What was the difference? Well, this chapter has all the answers.
So where did it all begin? Well, it started with a huge shock. Imagine one day you see these huge, black, smoke-belching steamships appearing on the horizon. That's exactly what happened in Japan in 1853. These American black ships were a terrifying wake-up call. Suddenly, both Japan and China realized the world was changing. Powerful Western countries were at their door, and they had a simple choice: change or be crushed.
So, let's first look at Japan's response. We'll call this Part 1, Japan's super fast glow-up. You all know what a glow-up is, right? It's like when someone gets a new haircut, new clothes, and suddenly looks amazing. Well, that's exactly what Japan did, but for their entire country.
The secret ingredient to their glow-up was something called the Meiji Restoration. Now listen carefully, Bakcho, because this is a key point. This was not a bloody war. It was more like a massive, planned makeover for the whole nation. They brought their young emperor, Meiji, back into power, and he led a revolution not from the streets, but from the very top.
Okay, everyone, pens and notebooks out. This is a 5-mark question waiting to happen. Japan's plan was brilliantly simple, just 4 steps. Step 1, get rid of the old samurai system. Step 2, build a strong, modern army and navy, just like the West. Step 3, super important, a new school system for everyone, boys and girls. And Step 4, build factories and railways to make the country rich. See? Simple, logical, and super effective.
And if you want to understand their motivation, it all comes down to this one powerful slogan, their mantra, rich country, strong army. That's it. They knew that to be respected, to be strong, you first needed to be wealthy. And to protect that wealth, you needed a powerful army. Everything they did, every single reform, was driven by this one clear goal.
Now, let's switch gears and look at China. And oh my, what a different story this is. Welcome to Part 2, China's Century of Struggle. Just listen to that word, a century. While Japan was having its glow-up in a few decades, China's journey was long, messy, and incredibly painful.
For China, the wake-up call wasn't just scary, it was humiliating. It all started with the Opium Wars. Just think about this. Britain was illegally selling drugs to the Chinese people, making them addicts and destroying their society from the inside. And when China tried to stop it, Britain attacked and defeated them. It was a massive blow to their pride.
So, you have to ask, why was China so slow to react? Well, unlike Japan, which is a small island, China was this huge, vast empire. For thousands of years, they believed they were the center of the universe. So the idea of copying barbarians from the West was a tough pill to swallow. Plus, everyone had a different idea of what to do. It was total chaos, with no single clear plan.
And this timeline just shows you how chaotic it was. In 1911, the last emperor was gone, but that didn't solve anything. Instead, the country fell into a massive civil war between two main groups, the nationalists, called the GMD, and the communists, the CCP. For decades, they fought and fought for control of China's future.
And just look at this. This shows you how bad things got under the nationalist GMD government. This is a price chart. In 1939, you could buy a pig for a certain amount of money. 10 years later, in 1949, that same amount of money was worth less than a single sheet of paper. Can you even imagine? Their own money became worthless. No wonder the people lost all faith in them.
On the other hand, you have the communists. To escape from the GMD who were trying to wipe them out, they went on something called the Long March. Look at this map. It wasn't a walk in the park. It was the ultimate survival trek. They walked thousands and thousands of kilometers across mountains, rivers, and swamps. This unbelievably difficult journey turned them into legends for the ordinary people of China.
So, Now that we've seen both stories, let's do what we do before every exam. Let's make a comparison chart. Here it is, the final scorecard, Japan versus China.
Pay very close attention. This is the summary of the whole chapter. Japan's path? They kept their emperor for unity. Their changes were planned, organized, and super fast. They copied the West to beat the West, and even became a colonial power themselves. Now China's path? They got rid of their emperor in a messy revolution. Their changes were chaotic, slow, and came from the people. And for a long, long time, they fought against everyone, including foreign powers and themselves.
Okay, now for the part you've all been waiting for. Let's practice some important exam questions so you are fully prepared to score full marks. Get ready to take some notes.
First up, a question that comes up all the time. Who was Sun Yat-sen, and what were his famous 3 principles? You will definitely see this name in your exam paper.
And here's your perfect, easy-to-remember answer. First point, he's called the father of modern China. Easy. Second, he led the revolution that kicked out the last emperor. Third, his 3 principles. Just remember this. Nationalism means kicking the foreigners out. Democracy means a government for the people. And socialism means the government controls the big industries to help everyone. Simple.
All right, next one. Another very important event you need to know. What exactly was the May 4th movement of 1919?
So, imagine this. After World War I, China was told that some of its land would be given to Japan. The people, especially students, were furious and came out on the streets to protest. But it became much bigger. It was a call to throw out all the old, useless traditions and build a new, modern China based on science and democracy. And very importantly, this movement is what led to the birth of the Communist Party.
Last practice question, Bacho. This one connects both parts of our story. How did Japan's aggression actually affect what was happening inside China?
Well, as Japan got stronger, it looked at its weak and divided neighbor China and decided to take a peace. They invaded and took over a region called Manchuria. Now, this was so serious that the two enemies, the GMD and the CCP, sometimes had to stop fighting each other to fight the Japanese. But here's the crucial part. The long, brutal war with Japan completely exhausted the GMD government. It drained their money and support, which in the end actually helped the communists win.
So, if you remember only one thing from today, let it be this. Both nations had to modernize to survive, but their paths were polar opposites. Japan chose a quick, organized, top-down makeover. China, on the other hand, went through a long, messy, and painful bottom-up revolution. And that's a wrap. But before you go, I have a question for you to think about. Looking at Japan and China today, which path do you think was better in the long run, and why? There's no right or wrong answer. I just want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Study hard. You're all going to do great. All the very best for your exams. Goodbye.